Hey guys, Brandy here. We're in the kitchen. We're going into week 4 of the October Pantry Challenge. And today I moved around. I had talked about last week that I was going to move the meal I had last Sunday to a different day because I made so much on my Saturday meal. And one of the things, it's hard to do a labor-intensive meal on Sunday because of church and things that revolve around that. And so when I menu planned, I kind of knew that, but I was like, well, and I ended up flipping a couple of my items. And so today was one of the items that I flipped. It's supposed to have been my meal for tomorrow, and we're actually going to do the venison burgers tomorrow because it's a quick meal, and that's one that my sons really want to try, and they're all here. So, because we haven't had it before, and that is we got our venison from Azure, from my last Azure haul. So we have tried the elk burgers, but we have not tried venison burgers. So the meal that I'm working on today is I got this from my little app. They will send, I think it's like monthly or something. They send you recipes that they have recommendations and stuff like that. And sometimes they have recipes like in their sales flyers and stuff like that. Well, this is one that came, I want to say a couple months ago. And it is slow cooker sweet potato curry. And this is one you can do in your Instapot on the crock pot function. You might be able to do it on the instant function. I honestly don't know. It doesn't give a conversion for that. So I'm just following their recipe. So what you're going to need, this is actually supposed to be a vegan meal, so it could totally be made vegan. Mine is not. I do not have vegetable broth, and I'm not going to the store. But I do have bone broth, beef bone broth. I also have chicken bone broth, and I really thought about using the chicken bone broth because I'm actually going to have grilled chicken with this. But I only have really large jars of the chicken broth, so, but I could use it with the rice. I may go grab a chicken broth, sorry. Anyway, I'm working this out in my head. But anyway, you need 1 large onion. It says you need 2 large sweet potatoes. I don't have large sweet potatoes. These are pretty small. So I'm just gonna do what I think will be the equivalent of 2 large sweet potatoes. They're supposed to be peeled and cut into 1/2-inch cubes. Your onion is supposed to be diced. You need 5 cloves of garlic, which I have in my refrigerator. 1 inch of ginger, peeled and minced. So it's asking for fresh ginger on that, and I have that. 1 can, this is the great part about the pantry challenge, is I had some chickpeas on my shelf that needed to be eaten by the end of this year. So we're using 1 can of those. Same with my tomato sauce, 1 can of tomato sauce, 1 can of coconut milk. And like I said, I think I'm going to go swap out my broth. And then my curry seasoning. I actually got this curry from Azure Standard. And you need some salt, and then at the end you're going to need some cooked rice and about 4 cups of baby spinach. I do not have the spinach, so later on, right before we eat, I'll probably run to Aldi's and pick up a bag of spinach. Probably pick one up for the chickens too because they love it, and it's cheap. And my spinach isn't ready in the garden. So anyway, so this is what you need to pull all this together. So I'm going to get it all ready. I'll show you what it looks like in the Instapot and give you the remainder of the directions. As far as the chicken goes, I just have some chicken thighs, and what I want to do is I'm just going to put a little infused olive oil, and I'm going to spice it up a little bit with my curry in a hurry, and I'm going to grill them out, and then I will chop those up and add that to the final dish. I'm only doing that to help balance out the protein for me because my body has a hard time, if I don't have a heavier protein like that, balancing rice dishes and things like that. So like I said, this is a vegan dish. It does not call for chicken. I'm doing that for me and what works for me. So you could totally do that, or you can totally leave it out. It's up to you. And I am using my Mary's chicken thighs, couple that I got from my last Azure haul. So anyway, so this is pretty much cooking out of the pantry with the exception of the spinach. We used up all of our spinach. And but it doesn't go into the very end. You just kind of want to wilt it in and mix it in. And it is supposed to be chopped. So sounds pretty good. So let me get to doing this, and I will show you what it looks like in the Instapot, and I'll show you the setting. So I've got my onions. I have two different types of sweet potatoes in here because the orange ones are the ones we grew. The purple are the ones I got from an organic farmer at the Jimmy Carter Freedom Farmers Market back in September, and I thought they had a pretty color and wanted to add that to the dish. And then of course I have my onion, my ginger, and I have 5 cloves of minced garlic in here that I just did. And so now I just got to get the other parts in, and then we can get started. That's what it looks like. Sorry, it's just the sun coming through my kitchen this time of year. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move our Instapot. Pick it up. I'm going to move it over here and get it in. I've got all my components in here except for the spinach because that comes at the very end. And I got to plug it up, and we're supposed to do it. I'm going to do mine for 4 hours on slow. Okay, I had to get my sheet so I could reference what it says. Alright, so it says you cook on high on the slow cooker setting on your Instapot, or if you just have a regular crock pot. You do low for 8 hours. I'm not doing low. It's too late in the day for that. It says high for 4 hours. One of the things I found with my Instapot is even on low it seems to cook faster. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on slow cook. We don't need 24 hours. Let's see. Okay, so I've got my 4 hours. It says low. I'm going to move up. Not my time, my temperature. I'm going to move to medium. I'm not putting mine on high because I think this will be just fine. I have my Instapot lid. I'm just going to put it on, and I'm going to press start, and that's it. I'm going to take the rest of my chicken stock, and I'm going to use a little curry spice, and I'm going to go ahead and make my rice. So my rice is done, and we'll just heat it up when we do the spinach, when I add the spinach in. And my oatmeal bake just came out of the oven. It smells so good. This is the one that used my apple butter that I just made this last week, because I had some I put directly into the refrigerator. And I also have an apple butter custard pie recipe that I want to make for my husband. He loves custards, and I want to try it. I saw it, and I think I can pull that together, so I'm going to try to. I'm trying to get a lot of things done because I still have to process more apples because I'm going to do apple pie filling and can that. And I also have all these green tomatoes, peppers, and stuff, and I want to kind of do a ferment and a pickle and some different stuff with that. So busy day, busy day, but thankful for all these things that I can be busy about. So anyway, I will hop back on later and show you what the finished slow cooker sweet potato curry looks like, because I think it's gonna be amazing. So I'm just making my Indian rice, and what I did was I used the last 3 cups of my chicken bone broth. I did 2 cups of white basmati rice. I put 3 cloves of garlic. I put 2 tablespoons of dehydrated green bell pepper. I put 1 tablespoon of curry in a hurry mix. And I put in about half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to put drizzle a little olive oil. And then I'm going to bring this up to a boil and then simmer for 20 minutes, and it'll be ready to go with our curry dish for dinner that we are making with our sweet potatoes that we grew. Alrighty, so I am cooking up my chicken thighs that are going to go into my curry sweet potato with chickpea recipe. This is my curry rice that I did, and I'm going to mix it in. When these get done, I'm going to slice them. I'm just going to kind of cut them up in bite-sized pieces, and then I'm going to take my rice. I'm going to take that, and I'm just cooking this with curry seasoning on it and butter. And then it will go into my, this is the sweet potato. Let's see. This has the purple sweet potato and the sweet potatoes I grew, some chickpeas and spinach, and that spinach adds a nice color. And that's what's for dinner for Saturday night. I think we'll definitely have leftovers of this, which will be nice because I think we'll pack this up for lunches. Alright, so I'm going to taste this dish. It's pretty exciting because I grew these sweet potatoes, the ones I was able to salvage, and I added the purple, which adds a pretty color. It's very hot. I don't want to get burned. Very good. It's a good recipe. I got this off of the Little app, and I did add the chicken, but outside of that, that was it. Very tasty. So I'll try to put a link to it if I can from Little, so y'all can give it a try. We'll see you tomorrow for dinner. We are also going to have some roasted oven potatoes. This is kind of a mix that I had a couple left of those baking potatoes from the other day that in last week's video, and these were some Yukon Golds I had, and so I just kind of mixed them up. And this is some of the peaches and cream corn I got from Burger's Market last weekend. And then I took kind of the last of our ripe tomatoes, and I had some leftover red onion from pizza night, and I think there's a little of our bell pepper, not much, but a little bit in there. And I did get a greenhouse cucumber to put in here because I haven't had cucumbers in a while. And this is just my little garden infused oil salad. I have a video on that. I can link it in the description. But that's what we're having for dinner tonight. So I guess we'll see you tomorrow night for dinner. Alright, so the potatoes are done. Our corn is roasted. Our venison burgers are almost done. They need to be an internal temperature of 165. And we have our nice summer salad to finish it out. So what's for dinner? Hi guys, so I had this is week 4 of the pantry challenge, and I haven't been to the store. It's Monday. I did not go shopping over the weekend for the week, and honestly I haven't really needed much, and I had to go today because I forgot to get out my ground beef from the freezer, and it was too late in the day to defrost it to go with my dinner. So I just ran to my Publix right before I was picking up my son, and this is what I got. This should last us till Friday, and I'll probably go shopping then. And even though next week we only have one day, technically I have 3 days because I started mine on the 1st, which was a Saturday. I'm going to continue the challenge through next week, and I'll just have to make a menu plan for the first week of November. And So I got a couple convenience things for sure. One, not getting my meat out, but I got this. I ended up going to Publix only because it's right next to my son's school. The Aldi's that's close to my house, I couldn't have went to because of school traffic. I wouldn't have been able to get to my son in time. So just a time crunch. So for convenience, I went to Publix. And this is what I got. I did buy gum. Yes, I know. I think if you look on there, it tells you this is not food. If you ever notice on gum and like mints and stuff, it says this is not food. I bought some mushroom pieces. I'll either use these tonight with our spaghetti dinner, or I'll use it Friday night on pizza night. I'm thinking I'm going to save these for pizza night, and I'm going to use the fresh mushrooms tonight because pizza night we have our first basketball game, and I'm going to want the easiest thing. So got some more Italian cheese. I did get half a gallon. I like their diet sweet tea. I needed some lettuce for turkey tacos. I actually had enough turkey taco meat to freeze from last week, so we're just going to have that on tomorrow night. It's already cooked, seasoned. I'll just pull it out, heat it up. I also got, to go with tonight, I got a sweet kale salad, bag salad. Of course, I had to buy the meat. I got some goldfish I have for the boys. And these were a buy one, get one free. I can't eat them because it says it could contain peanuts, and so that's a no-go for me. But they have good ingredients, and so I thought they might like this for their breakfast because they like to have bars like that for their breakfast. And then one likes this, the other boy likes those, and so they needed those for the week. So that's my massive grocery haul, and I spent $38.80. Yeah, $38.80. And the only other thing that I did need spinach for last night's dinner, and John picked that up for me at Aldi's, and I think it's like $1.39. I don't have the receipt. And to go in that, or maybe that was Saturday. I think that was Saturday night's meal. So, but outside of that, this is it. And I can't think of really anything that I have to get because we still have creamer, coffee creamer, all that kind of stuff. So I think we're pretty good, pretty set until Friday, and I'll probably go shopping Friday. But that'll be on the following weeks. But anyway, this is my shopping haul, and I definitely stayed within budget. And at this rate, my overage I had last week will come out in the wash. So that's what I'm hoping for. I hope you have a great week. Alright, so it's Monday night, and this is what dinner's done. I had forgot we had leftover from last night from our garden tomato salad, so we're just going to finish that tonight as our salad. We're having spaghetti. My other son, he likes the white pasta, so he has that. And I wanted to show y'all my beautiful sourdough loaf. It's huge. I will show you the bottom. It's not burnt. And that ice cube, you got that nice crust, and it's soft in the middle. You can feel it. It has give to it. So that's what's for dinner. We'll see you tomorrow night for turkey tacos. Alright guys, it's Tuesday, turkey taco night. This was leftover from last week. I just froze it in a freezer bag, thawed it out, and it's what's for dinner tonight. I have it heating up. I have shells in the oven, and I've got some sour cream, some shreds, some cheese I had in the freezer I pulled out. I had one of those avocado packs. If you ever buy those already made, they freeze great. This was frozen about 10 minutes ago. I just ran it under warm water, and it's ready to go. We had roasted corn the other day. This was leftover, so I cut it up. These are our street tacos, taco shells. And I have salsa. We have some cheese dip left over. I did pull out one of my Mrs. Wages because this one, I don't know if it'll be enough. And we are finishing up that yummy enchilada sauce. I also have some blue tortilla chips. So y'all, that's what's for dinner. It is Thursday, week 4, and tonight's dinner is essentially what I have in my house and on the pantry to make my meal. And so it starts with this massive, beautiful 7-bone-in pot roast. This is from when we bought our cow share. I've been saving this, and I'm fixing to season it up and sear it in my pan before I do a slow cook in my oven. And I'm happy to have a slow cook in my oven because it's pretty chilly out, and it helps keep my house warm when I have my oven on. I have some carrots I'm going to peel, and I'm going to kind of just slice. And I have a few of these potatoes left over. These I'm not going to roast with the meat because the meat's going to cook very low and slow. These I will peel later, and these are green beans from last year's garden, not this year's garden, and we need to eat these. I have 3 of them. So I'm going to open these up, and I'm actually going to dice up these few potatoes that I have. These are some Yukon Golds. And I'm going to put them in with the green beans to cook them. And I'll probably doctor them up a little bit, make them taste good. In my roast, I will have the carrots in the bottom. I will use an onion. I have a little bit of leftover fresh mushrooms from the other night, and I'll just chop these up like the onion. I have some fresh garlic, some homemade beef bone broth. I'm going to use a little Worcestershire. I have some red wine, and we do like the Montreal steak seasoning, and so we'll do some of that when we do the sear. And so that's essentially what is for dinner and for Thursday night. Okay, so I've got my butter heating up in my pan. I have seasoned up the one side, and I'm hoping I can make this fit. It's going to be a challenge. This joker is no joke. This is supposed to be a small cow. So we're going to flip this side. We're going to try to sear that up. Alright, let's see. Pick it up. And if we can get, ooh! A big old piece of meat, ain't it? Yeah. Alright. So, the reason I love the 7-bone-in blade is because it will give you so much flavor. The bone with the meat is just huge. Whenever you're cooking low and slow, you're gonna get all that good flavor in your meal. And so I don't know why everyone loves the boneless pot roast. I don't think it has much flavor at all. Okay, so now I'm going to try to get this out of my pan for a moment. Alright, so I have all the good bits and pieces on the bottom. So now let me get my here it is. I'm going to put in some onion and those mushrooms. I kind of want to try to get those little bits of pieces from the seared meat. Picked up just a little bit. And I'm going to help it because I'm going to add in some wine. So if you ever try wine, like you get a bottle and you don't like it, whew, use it for your cooking. way you don't feel like you're out anything. Alright, so I've got that there. Red wine is particularly really good with beef dishes and collard greens. And if you don't like collard greens, it's because you hadn't had them cooked right. No lie. If they're cooked right, you'll love them. If you don't, something ain't right. Alright, this is my bone broth. So I want to add this in. I probably will add just a little bit more wine. There we go. Put that cork back in. Alright. That is so pretty. Alright, so one of the things that I do have some garlic, and I'm going to use part of the garlic I'll put in here. But I have some dried, dehydrated green bell pepper. So I want to add that in. It adds a nice flavor. I don't know what it is about green bell pepper in beef dishes. Again, I think they just it adds it's a good compliment. Alright, the other thing I have is I do have some onion soup mix this is from Azure. It's gluten-free. It smells like onion soup mix. It smells good. And I'm actually going to put a couple of tablespoons into my broth here. Let's see. I may want to add a little bit more. And this is not a recipe, this is just me. Honestly, this is how I cook a lot of times. I just know what ends up tasting good. I think I want to put a little bit more. I think I'm going to do 2 more. This is a big roast. Okay. And another reason I love Azure, because I can't use like the Lipton onion soup mixes and stuff in the store because they do have gluten and things in them, and some of the other things in them aren't as clean. The Azure is very clean. This smells so stinking good. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to put in here, I'm going to layer my carrots in here. My bigger ones, like I cut in half. The others I left whole. You don't want them too small because then they'll just be mush. Oops. Caught it. Alright. I'm going to get these in here. These things are like amazing when your roast is done. Alright. I'm going to turn my heat off. Remember, I'm not doing potatoes. If you did potatoes and kept it in the oven this long, they would just be mush. You probably could do like some root vegetables, a rutabaga, maybe some turnips if you wanted to. And all I'm doing is, some of these are going to go in my green beans. I want 3 for my green beans. So I'm going to put the others in here. I didn't chop them. I like cooking sometimes with just the clove like that, especially when it's like a low and slow. When you take a bite of that, oh, it's amazing. Alright, so now I've got to try to get the piece of meat back in here. Put it back in my pot. This is one of the reasons I love the Le Creuset oval Dutch oven, because bigger pieces of meat like this, especially if you have a big family or you're cooking a big meal. I've had this pan now, oh, let me think, probably getting close to 20 years. It may be 20 years. It's somewhere around there. And see, I'm just going to close this up. I'm going to open up my oven. I have my oven preheated at 325. And it's going in. And it's going to remain there until dinner time. And so the only other thing that I will do is I will open up my green beans. I'll peel the potatoes, dice them up. I have half of my onion left to dice up, 3 cloves of garlic, and I'll probably put some of my Tuscan spice in it. And I'll probably use the remainder of the caramelized garlic because it's almost gone. And I will cook those probably about an hour before this gets done. And that's dinner. That's got a meat. It's got carrots, potatoes. I have green beans. The only other thing I have contemplated, and I might do, probably will do, is I'll probably make a pan of cornbread because... Alright, it is Thursday night. My roast has cooked low and slow all day long. These are the cooked carrots on the bottom with all the good juice that you'll want to put on your roast. These are my homegrown green beans. I put in some Yukon Gold potatoes, the last I had. I peeled and diced those up. And I did make a freshly milled loaf of cornbread. And that is our dinner for tonight. My guess is this may be leftovers for another night. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or maybe even over the weekend. We will see, but this is a lot of food and we won't be able to eat all this in one night, which is nice. It's nice to make a lot of food so you can get a night off from cooking. Alright, so this is my last shopping trip for the October Pantry Challenge, and it was to my local farmers market in Ackworth. Today was the last day for the season, for the 2022 season, and so I had about $60 left, and I wanted to show you what I got. I got these 2 ginormous cabbages. I'm going to make some sauerkraut in my big 2-gallon crock. I got half a peck. No, not half. Well, half a peck total, but 1/4 of a peck of pink ladies and 1/4 of the mutzus. Those are my favorite. My son loves this sausage, and so I'm just going to put it in the freezer and for a later date. But it's only at the market when the market's open, so this will be one we'll save back. I got my other son. He loves the spicy sampler goat cheese. And we got this one is a lemon curd goat cheese. And then I also got us North Georgia, or it's not North Georgia, it says it's North Carolina rainbow trout. And he does the best jobs with these trout, so they're really good. And so that's what I spent the remainder of this week's budget on.